Hello, this is Lindsay Upton the Quilt Quine, and today I thought we'd have a little look at making a filled wreath. It's very common in traditional patchwork quilts to have blank blocks, and they look great with this sort of thing in them. So it's actually quite simple to design your own filled wreaths to put in that space. Art and Stitch has a great manual and lots of videos to show you what to do, but I can never remember. So hopefully my little video will help you to remember what to do as well. The wreath that we have here on the screen is a simple one from the library, and it has a filled circle inside it. So let's look at how we got there. First of all, I'm going to click File, New, check that I'm going into quilting. Okay. Then I'm going to go into the library and I'm going to pick out Feather Wreath 1. Now I'm going to make this a different size. It's only 6 inches at the moment. I'm going to make it 10 inches. You can see that I've unchecked maintain aspect ratio, so I'll have to make sure that both boxes have got 10 in them. And then I'm going to scroll in with my mouse so that I can see the whole thing. Now I'm going to open a new design page. File, New, Quilting. Okay. I've got a blank page. I'm going to go back to the library. This time I'm going to look in the creative fills. The green ones are all continuous and they're very well behaved. So we're going to pick traditional circle filler. There it is. I'm just going to center it on the page. Next, I'm going to go over to my ellipse tool. It was a rectangle, but I've been drawing circles. I'm going to draw a circle, taking in a reasonable amount of the creative fill background. I might want to just shift that circle over until I'm pleased with the placement. I think that'll do. Okay, now in sequence view, I'm going to press Control A on my keyboard, and that will activate the creative fill icon over here, which I'm going to click, and now I have a filled circle. Next, I have to select that, go to Properties, Transform, and I want it to be 5 inches. So I'm just going to put 5 in both of those boxes and apply. I'll just make it a bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. Now, the next thing I should do is assign stitches to the whole thing. Now, what you can see is that we've got a dotted line going over here, which means a jump stitch. So that might not bother you, but some people are a bit finicky about that kind of thing. So you can go into the reshape mode. And as you can see, there is the start and the stop. So what the usual thing to do is to just whiz the stop round to the same point as the start. Click away, and it looks like we have no jump stitches. So I'm just going to run the sew simulator to check that all looks good. But watch quite carefully. Now, the thing was that in order to get rid of the jump stitches, it did go over the same pattern more than once, and that is probably not very acceptable. But I have come up with a solution. So we'll select the whole thing and take it back to artwork. And I'm going into sequence view. And I'm going to click the bottom circle only. And I'm going to rotate it right 90 degrees. Now, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to select the whole thing, assign stitches again, and it looks like there is no jump. Let's just run the sew simulator. That version is much tidier, so we'll go with that. So I'm going to select everything, right click, copy, Then I'm going to go back to design 4, or at least the page where I had my wreath, right click and paste it in. It's a bit off to one side. If I center it, it's now in the right position. Now I have both designs together, I should select them all, assign stitches to everything. There is a tiny jump stitch, but I'm actually not going to worry about that. I want it to look organized like I showed you on the original picture. I could go to all items and make them all the same color, like that. I just want to export that as a BQM file in the size that I want to quilt out straight away. So I'm not saving it as artwork. Also, if I did try and save it as artwork, it would forget that neat little trick we did to get rid of the jump stitch in the creative fill. So I will go to File, Save As. I'll make sure it's a BQM Qmatic file, and I will drop it onto my USB stick, which is in my case E. Have to give it a name that I will remember, so I shall call it a filled wreath and save it. I'm not worried about the size of the hoop because it's not an embroidery, it's for a long arm. So I'll say, yes, I want to continue. That can now be transferred to my Qmatic machine by putting the USB stick in, going into my design center and importing it as a file. I hope that was clear and not too tricky, and you'll have a go yourself. Thanks for watching.